Welcome to the Profitable Traders. Price action patterns can be very profitable if traded correctly. What you see in the chart is a head and shoulders pattern, and I've banked over 80 pips with this simple price action pattern that I'm going to teach you in this video. If you want to learn how to spot these simple price action patterns and make massive profits, then smash the subscribe button, the notifications bell, so that you'll be alerted whenever we upload new videos. Without further ado, let's get started. Head and shoulders pattern is what I've used on this trade particularly to make profits of over 80 pips with 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio, as you can see on the chart here. And this is what I'm going to teach you in this video. Before I go into this technical analysis of this trade, let me first show you how to trade head and shoulders pattern on a blank chart. Let's say we have a market making a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, that makes a higher high and a higher low. Now here we have this level which is being created here, and this one here is the resistance level. Now when this market makes a pullback to this level of structure, then gets pushed down, then this becomes the head and shoulders pattern. We have the head, we have this one shoulder, this one is the second shoulder, and this one is the neckline. We have this neckline. So this is what we define as head and shoulders pattern, and there are different ways you can trade this head and shoulders pattern. The aggressive way you can trade this head and shoulders pattern is when this market makes a pullback to this level of structure at the same level of the first shoulder. Then you look for any indication of going to the downside. The second way of trading this head and shoulders pattern is when you wait for the market to break below the neckline. This one is the neckline. Let me change the color to blue, and then makes a pullback to this level of structure which is at the neckline. Then you look for any indication of going to the downside. The rules you can make for this head and shoulders pattern is that let the shoulders be at the same level and the neckline at the same level, or if the shoulders are at the same level, then this qualifies to be a head and shoulders pattern, or if the neckline is at the same level, then this qualifies to be head and shoulders pattern. And now back to this trade. This is NZDCAD on a daily time frame. When I came on this currency pair, I saw this market made such an impulsive leg, then a pullback at this level of structure, then made another impulsive leg that closes above the previous level of structure, which is the resistance level at the first shoulder, then makes a pullback that closes below this level of resistance, then makes another pullback at the same level of the first shoulder. Then I went to a lower time frame. In this case it's a 4-hour time frame, and I saw this nice indication. We have the first top, we have the second top with this bearish candle. So at this bearish candle, this is where I got into the trade. The stop loss was just 1 ATR above the swing highs, and the take profit was at 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio. This market made a pullback here, went up above my break even, then makes a pullback here, then came back up here, and while it was making these lower lows and lower highs, I went to a much lower time frame, which is a 1-hour time frame, and in this 1-hour time frame it made this lower low and made a pullback here. Now when it made this pullback here, I just wanted to protect my capital here. So what I did, I brought my stop loss 1 ATR above this level, and this was exactly here. This is where I brought my stop loss, and my take profit was hit, giving me over 80 pips, around 84 pips in profits. And this is how you can use this simple price action pattern to make profits. So what you do, wait for a market to create the first shoulder at a strong level of structure, then makes a pullback, then makes another impulsive leg that crosses above resistance level, and a pullback that breaks below this resistance level. When it makes another pullback at this resistance level, then we have two options to trade it. The first option is to enter when the market is at this level. The second option is wait for the market to break the neckline of the head and shoulders pattern, then makes a pullback to it and enter into the trade. Let me show you more examples of this head and shoulders pattern. We have this market that made an impulsive leg, a pullback, and another impulsive leg that breaks and closes below this level of support. And the market made another impulsive leg at the same level of the neckline and a pullback to this level of support. And at this pullback, you can enter into trade and make profits on a lower time frame, or you can wait for a pullback and enter into the trade. Let's look at another example. Another example is here. We have a market making a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, and a pullback. At this lower low is where the first shoulder is created. Then the head is being created here by breaking below this support level and made an impulsive leg and made a pullback to this same level of structure. Now we have our head and shoulders pattern being created, and here you can enter into the trade at the pullback to the level of the first shoulder and make profits. Let's check out whether we can see another example. Another example is here. We have this impulsive leg, a pullback, and another impulsive leg. Here now we have this first shoulder being created. We have this first shoulder now being created, and when this market makes another impulsive leg at this neckline, we had a false breakout here, then made a pullback, making second shoulder. And at the creation of this second shoulder, if you take the trade here, you'd have made this massive profit. And this is how you can trade head and shoulders pattern. This is the trade I took this week that made me profits of over 80 pips. The second trade that I took and was profitable was dollar Canadian. In dollar Canadian on a daily time frame, what I normally do is to spot dynamic levels of structure. And these dynamic levels of structure, we have support here, this zone, we have resistance here, we have resistance here, and I've marked this as a strong dynamic level of structure. Now when this market broke and closed below this level of structure, I was waiting for the pullback to this dynamic level of structure that I have marked. I went to a lower time frame, and in this lower time frame I saw one of my best price action patterns for entries, which is the double top. We have the first top here, we have this pullback, we have this second top. So we also have this bearish candle, and at this bearish candle, this is where I would have entered the trade, but by the time I saw this, the market made a pullback up here, and I got into the trade here, and here I made a profit of nearly 70 pips with a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. This was also a winning trade for the week, and since then the market just made a pullback here, and it has been in a downtrend since then. And let's see, over 200 pips the market has reacted at this level of structure. And in my radar I have Aussie New Zealand. This Aussie New Zealand on a daily time frame, I have already drawn my daily levels of structure. These are powerful levels of structure that I always draw on the charts. Here this level of structure was tested here as resistance, it was tested here as resistance, it was tested here as support, it was tested here as resistance, tested here as resistance. And what do you see again here? You see this market was in a downtrend previously, making a lower low, a lower high, a lower low. I just made a small pullback to it and a lower low. Now what happened here? This market made a pullback at this level of structure, then failed to make a lower low that closes below this level of structure. So it made a lower high, and after this lower high, this market broke above this level of structure. What do you think I'm waiting on this currency pair? I'm waiting for the pullback to this level of structure, then expect a reversal. This analysis is a reversal strategy that I use to make massive profits, and I've made a video about this reversal strategy. I'll put in the card. I'll also put a link in the description below. If you want to learn more about this reversal strategy, then you can watch that video. If I don't find a pullback to this level of support, when this market gets up here to this level of resistance, I'll just look for any indication to go to the downside as a counter trend. Also have CAD yen. CAD yen on a daily time frame, we have this powerful level of structure that I have drawn. This level of structure was tested here as resistance, was tested here as support, was tested here as resistance, tested here as resistance, and tested here as resistance. So this is a powerful level of structure, and this market has just broken above this level of structure. Now since it has broken above this level of structure, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a pullback at this level of structure, then expect the market to continue to the uptrend. This is a trend continuation strategy, and this is what is on my radar. The next one is dollar Swiss. What I also see here is a reversal. This market made a higher high above this level, above the previous level of structure, then made a pullback. When it made this pullback some weeks back, I had a win here, made an impulsive leg that closes above this level of structure. What I was waiting for was a pullback at this level of structure. I call this a powerful level of structure because it was tested here as resistance, it was tested here as resistance, here as resistance, and here as resistance. So I marked it as a powerful level of support, where this market would find support and continue to the upside. But unfortunately I was stopped out on this trade, it was a loss, and my bias is still uptrend. Since this market is making a pullback to this level of structure, what I will do here next week is to look for an entry reason on a lower time frame and expect the market to go to the upside. So this has brought us to the end of our discussion. Thank you for watching. I'm Edward Majok, the Profitable Traders Coach. If you have found value in this video, would you give it a like and subscribe if you haven't yet subscribed, and share this video with your friends. See you in the next video.